Hey everybody, welcome in to the Week 5, Week 6 Major League Rugby Pick'em Challenge for the West Des Moines Wombats, brought to you by District 36 Wine Bar and Grill in Ankeny. Tonight we have Nico, Marcus, Phil, myself, and we have Mark from River City joining us. DeAndre and Justin both had some work obligations, so they won't be with us. But hey everybody, how we doing?
Tired and sore.
Yes.
Doing well.
Awesome. So we're gonna start everything in here. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, here we go. Sorry, the clicker is just a little bit slower with this little paw here. This cast is not doing me any favors. So yeah. So we have our Week 5 review, Week 6 preview of our West Des Moines Wombats Major League Rugby Pick'em Challenge, brought to you by District 36. And this week we have, a little special report. Phil went in to go check out District 36. He wanted to make sure that everything we said about it was true. Phil, how was your experience?
Oh, it was great. Sean took really good care of us. The food was fantastic and drinks were great. I mean, everything about it was awesome. I couldn't get any other good pictures though because Cheyenne didn't want to take any pictures. So
yeah, I was going to ask
that. It was good.
2 questions here. Number one, how was the patio and the pond?
It's really cool, but it was too dark for us to go out there.
I don't know. It looks like he sunburned that day.
And then second question was going to be so you did take your girlfriend to District 30. You didn't just set the camera up across from you and...
As believable as that would be, no, I did not.
So you made sure both hands were in the photo so we didn't think it was a selfie?
Of course.
So again, thank you, District 36. You can find them in Ankeny. They've got some awesome social hour. Their happy hour, it's 3 hours long, Monday through Saturday. Go check it out. Awesome time. If Phil likes it, you'll love it. And moving in to the next part here, we have Marc Blong from River City. Thanks for joining us, Mark. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, super glad to have you on. The reason why we wanted to make sure we had you this week is, when we first started this, we were like, oh, we're going to have a different person on the Wombats every week. And then we realized, a lot of our guys are new. A lot of our guys are from the same background. We want to go and talk to people from around the state and maybe outside of the state even. And there's so many rugby experiences out there. And we play you guys this weekend. So we thought it'd be fun to have you on and kind of, joke around, talk about that a little bit, but also just kind of hear how things are going in River City and Mason City for people who mix that up. I don't know how many times I talk to people and oh yeah, we're playing River City. And they're like, well, I thought we were playing Mason City. And it's funny how, do you get that a lot when you talk to people?
Yeah. Or they're like, they just don't know where we're from. They're like, oh, Mason City. Yeah. And that's one of those things too. Like when you try to promote the club, there's people that have heard of River City Rugby and don't realize it's in the town they live in. So, and then stuff you'd almost consider changing it or trying to figure some way to readdress that name. But, when you're almost 50 years, it's hard to come back on anything. So we stuck with it,
And you said 50 years. I mean, one of the oldest clubs that's active in Iowa right now. So where does the name River City come from?
It actually comes from The Music Man, if you've heard of the musical. Meredith Wilson's the one that wrote that. He's the most famous person from Mason City. And in that movie, it's called River City, but it's based on Mason City. So that's where
that's cool.
And that's where
cool.
In our crest have the trombone. That's what that represents. And then the rose represents Iowa, and then the eagle represents USA. So that's kind of our crest and the history behind that. So
that's awesome.
That
Yeah,
was way
because
cool.
I made like a little graphic for us today, and I noticed when I was like looking at your guys' like new revamped kind of logo, I noticed that trombone there. It kind of I didn't know it kind of felt like a Fourth of July celebration, like a jamboree of like red, white, and blue. It's got the trombone, it's got the eagle, it's got kind of like an explosion look to it. So that's awesome. Yeah. So Phil, if you didn't learn anything today, now you know you got a movie to go
Oh, I
check
know.
out.
I gotta
Yeah.
watch that movie.
That's pretty
So
well known. I lived in Nevada for a while, and I didn't realize how well known it was. And I went to my bank, and there was like a flyer for a musical production of it, and I was like, "What?" Because I just didn't know. Being from here, it's obviously big, but apparently it's a pretty big deal. So
that's
Huh.
awesome. Yeah, and so thinking of River City, your guys' club, this past year has been a pretty tough year with COVID, but for your guys' club, I know um, it's been really tough. You guys have lost two brothers, two members of your rugby family, and so one thing I noticed, your guys' community, uh, you guys are a very old club, a lot of history, but also just a very strong community. And so I just wanted to ask too, for people that don't get the chance to go play Mason City or see you guys, what's it like in the community? What's that family atmosphere been like this past year? It just seems like there's a lot of support, a lot of love, and you guys have an old boys tournament that you host every year as well. Can you talk to that a little bit? What that's been like for you guys?
yeah, like actually for me personally, the alumni has always been a huge thing. I don't know if their involvement, if they didn't have that, I probably would have never stuck with rugby, to be honest with you. Starting from a spectator's point, but yeah, our alumni is strong with us, and we rest in peace to a couple alumni. We actually lost Bill Boulevard and John Marino, really, really awesome staples to our club. Actually, both passed from COVID, so that was a tough dose of reality too. But yeah, I mean we're the host team for the Old Barking Dogs, who are a old boys side that tours every 2 years. Obviously, COVID messed that up, but like that's been great to be. I mean, I've gone with them to Hawaii and over to the UK and to New Zealand and stuff, and it's neat to have like tours with old boys as being a younger guy. But I mean, next year I guess I'm an old boy, but
Hmm.
um the old boys still come around. I started a position with the club called the alumni liaison to keep them involved. Um, but some of them were like around from like the original team up until just a few years ago. So they've taken a pretty big step back, but they just want us to own the club so much. But we definitely cherish our history, and I hate to say it, but like it's a good and bad thing. But the funerals, active side guys go to alumni funerals, alumni guys come to active side funerals, and we're obviously blessed to have our clubhouse, which we've had since the early '80s and stuff. So they set us up pretty good, and we still feel their support. And not a lot of clubs have that to the extent that we do. Um, so we're blessed for that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just clubhouse and supportive alumni. That especially to have both of those are tough to find. And when you have them, you want to hold on to them because they can give so much back to the club. And it's something that's just very visible with your guys' club having the events that you guys are able to host. You guys also do in the winter, don't you do, or is it in the summer? There's a Clydesdale tournament. Do you guys host that?
We kind of have three events. So we do Old Boys Clash. That that's obviously a big draw. That's a really cool event for us as active side players to see all the alumni and all the old boys from around the state. You see old boys from just get back together, and they have a good time for sure on and off the field. And then we have Clydesdales in the summer, just to give an option to some of the bigger fellows that want to play some sevens. And that's gained a little bit of ground, but this last one we had was the first one that we had like teams like St. Louis came up for that, and like Des Moines came up for that, and then we had a like Riverside and like a mixed like Horside, and it's a good time. It's fun to watch too, and I usually referee in that, and that's a good time. It's fun to referee, but it's yeah, the social afterwards is fun, but the event and watching the big guys play in the summers is a good time. So I know Des Moines was like, let us know when that's happening again. Somehow we reached out. Somehow some guys in Wisconsin heard about us, so they came. Now I want to bring a couple close from Wisconsin. So hopefully we can build on that and have it this year. And then the other event is the Nitwit, which is like a winter tournament that used to be a pretty big deal back in the 80s and 90s, and all the teams around the state used to kind of come up to Mason City. But as we brought it back, it's been more of like we just take all the players and split into teams and then let the different teams play, and it's more of a social tournament. That's another one. It's a good time, and you get the guys that are all itching to play because it's usually in February, so February or March, so everyone's itching to get out there.
Yeah, I was mixing those two up because I always see that one come up in February, and you can always just see there's guys who are just like, finally, like, get me on the pitch. I don't care if there's 6 inches of snow, get me out there. And then, yeah, when that summer Clydesdale tournament comes up, I think West Des Moines is probably going to enter a side. I mean, there's a good number of us that are in that weight bracket. So
Great.
And the social aspect, that's a huge part of it for us. So yeah. And then talking about the community, talking about alumni, current players, Mason City has also had recently new high school programs. And I know with COVID, everybody is taking a hit in the high school programs. And I think you were involved coaching in there as well. So how has the school district, how have they taken rugby? And what's that look like in the high school for both boys and girls? And what's it going to bring back to your guys' club? Or what are you hoping for there?
So I would say there hasn't been a lot of turnaround for high school boys coming back and playing for Mason City. There's been a handful. Right now we have like 5 kids that used to play, which is the most that we've had since the high school boys started. To see a little turnaround, and that's good. What's kind of disappointing, and I think it's kind of on us not promoting it enough, is we actually have a scholarship at the community college here to play for River City for high school kids. So that's been up for a few years, and only one kid is actually taking it on. So, he lives in Des Moines now. So, it's been kind of neat to see some of the kids go on to different places. We've had a lot of kids play at Iowa Central and stuff. So some of them are playing elsewhere, and that's cool anyways. My high school girls, I started them when I moved back from Wyoming, and the tough thing with the school has been they're on their 3rd activities director since I've been back. And like the first one I dealt with, he was hard to work with, and I wasn't asking for much, just that they were supported and that I could work with them and gain like documents on what the stipulations are for other clubs and hold them to the same standard. That gentleman retired. They had a new person in 2019, and he was awesome to work with, and he was really trying to promote us and gave me some opportunities to like set up booth at the school and stuff. And then he got fired. So now there's a new athletic director. I haven't had much luck getting in contact with him. And then I did, when I first moved back, I helped with coaching the high school boys, but I really got too involved with the high school girls running it and coaching it that it just was a lot, because I was coaching River City at that time too. So.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I've seen across the state too. That's the hardest part. Those athletic directors, some of them, we see rugby as this great opportunity to complement other sports. And then there's all these like collegiate opportunities kids could have. And I feel like a lot of athletic directors, because it's like another spring sport. We just added golf and tennis and soccer and another one, and they look at it more as a liability. And man, if they could just see it from our point of view, like there's some great opportunities for these kids in the collegiate level. And also, you only need 12 kids and you got a whole team. But yeah, that's the toughest battle, I think, is just getting those athletic directors to even listen. So that's a bummer. You 2 out of 3, you had a good, sounds like a pretty good thing, but this third one, little work to do.
Oh, and what's one thing that's cool I got to give a shout out to is Central Springs. That's 2 River City alumni. That's in like 10 miles away from here. They started a high school boys club this year. Well, they started it last year until COVID shut it down. But their program took off right away. But like one of their coaches, Bill, like he's like a football coach, indoor wrestling coach, or he might even be the athletic director up there. So right away they got school support, and their program's taken off, and they got a really good group of kids, and they're coaching them well. So Mason City has kind of drifted down with numbers and stuff, but Central Springs popped up, and they're doing great right now too. So there's still some pretty good high school boys going in North Iowa, which has been really cool to watch. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, it'd be great too to get more clubs around the state, so everybody's not just driving to Des Moines or driving to, I mean, even Waterloo, Cedar Falls area. There's a couple of clubs, but that makes it tough for these smaller schools to stick with it every single week when it's like, hey, what's the schedule? Drive 2 hours, drive 2 hours, drive 2 hours, drive 45 minutes. It's the more small schools around the state that can support it, it's gonna make it easier for these kids to stay out for it. So that's great. Are you we need a little soundbite, a little clip. Are you calling it right now? Central Springs, they're gonna win the 1A boys state title?
Man, they're coming out hot. I'll give it to them. They're gonna make a run at it. They're gonna make a run.
Playing it safe, just with they're gonna make a run.
Yeah, I did what they had the home site their first week, and I was impressed with all the rugby that was being played. And I mean, some of those kids, I'm like, are these kids in college? What are they? You know, there's some really big kids that are playing really good hard-nosed rugby, and they won both their first 2 games, and they look good doing it. So I feel like they have a lot of room to grow, but to come out that good. When I was helping coach the Mason City boys, there was a freshman from Central Springs, and he's their captain now, and he's a really good kid, but he's a great player too. So I think they got something going there. So they're gonna make a run for it.
Awesome. That's great to see. Like, I'm rooting for them. We need more small schools around the state. Like, you just don't associate Central Springs and rugby, so they need to make that happen. That's got to be a thing now. So yeah, awesome. Sure. Well, moving back into River City, you guys had a match this past weekend down in Des Moines. How did that go for you guys?
Well, it's like we knew it'd be a tough matchup with those guys. One of our alumni is really involved with Paul Kaler. He's really involved with the St. Louis Royals, who are now joined with the Ramblers, the Royal Ramblers. Mm-hmm. And so we knew it'd be fun to see those guys and get with them. And they wanted to do things with like honoring our player Mikey with that stuff. So the game, I mean, for me, it wasn't real great. I got hurt again right away, but it was still a lot of fun. We're really rebuilding, and they really have a strong 2 sides. I think they brought like 45 guys, and they're definitely at a higher level. But there were some moments where we fixed things. Our defense looked better, but they still broke it down. But I think one thing that's been awesome this year is our attitudes. In spite of tough loss and things like that, we held a good attitude the whole way, never gave up the whole game. And I don't want the guys to get so discouraged when they play a quality club, but we did get it put on us pretty well. So it's the St. Louis Royal Ramblers, one of their sides, right? In Des Moines, though. Okay. Yeah, their second side. They brought 2 sides worth of guys, and their first side played Des Moines, and they pretty well put it on Des Moines. And then their second side, it was they got something good going there in St. Louis for sure. So
oh yeah, few of those guys played for the St. Louis Royals when they played Bremer in the D3 title match a few years ago, and then they combined to make that team. So recognize a few of the faces in some of the pictures there, but yeah, they got a lot of good stuff, and they have that good connection with Lindenwood down there too. So
yeah, we had some Lindenwood in there, and they have like one of my buddies, Ani. He was played for Lindenwood, and he's definitely like MLR. They have a player that used to be a hooker for Utah and stuff. So
man,
they got
that's cool to see and play those people in person, but then you're like, damn, they're good. Like
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
and so
we had a beautiful day. It's hard for me to not enjoy just a day of rugby, regardless of the outcome. When we had the weather we had on Saturday, and we had a year off. So
definitely. And what's the rest of the spring schedule look like for you guys? What are you looking forward to most? You guys look like you have a pretty packed schedule getting back into it.
yeah, I'm the match secretary, and I didn't know what to expect. And I was trying to do the every other week thing, like they really wanted. And then obviously the Royals got a hold of me, and that kind of changed that. So actually, after we play you guys, I also didn't know teams we're only doing a few games. So I was scheduling like there's going to be 6 games, but we decided that was a lot, and so we just stuck with the 5 that we had. So after you guys, we have almost a month off, and we play at Cedar Rapids, and then a couple weeks later we have Bremer's coming up to us. That'll be. I know kind of the landscape for players. I mean, with Bremer and like Cedar Rapids and you guys, obviously there's been a lot of changes there. So I saw kind of some pictures of Cedar Rapids and who's playing with them again, and I'm kind of excited just to see the different landscapes of the teams. So the next 3 are really exciting to me because I'm excited about you guys. Obviously, I know a bunch of you guys on the Wombats, and I was stoked as soon as I seen there was a new club coming up. I think that's fantastic, and the angle you guys are going with. So I'm excited about you guys. And then you guys caught your first win against Cedar Rapids. I saw some of those pictures. So I see some guys are playing back in Cedar Rapids again, which is cool. And then they kind of got some UNI boys and stuff. And so it'll be fun to play. I think each of you teams will offer something different. And we're blessed to have 3 home games this season. So we're excited to host, and the city, after this many years, finally let us put in permanent posts. So we're excited about our field. And
Nice.
we didn't waste last year. We took the year off to renovate our clubhouse. So our clubhouse has been redone, and we got those posts. So we're excited to have 3 home games and just to play teams. Even though we played Cedar Rapids and Bremer, sometimes it's all different. It seems like this year. The only team that we're used to that was Northeast, and those are our buddies. So we were happy to play them as well. So this season is exciting for a few different reasons.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like as we move into like that fall league season, I mean, every team is going to have a different look, but I think, like you mentioned, at the positives, every team has something to build off of, and everything's kind of different. And it's really cool to see. And hopefully, that was our big goal, was just, we want to see more club rugby, that club social, having a good time after a match, like play good rugby, have a bunch of beers, have a good time, just throw another name in the hat, and I think you'll see that when you play. You'll see our club in Cedar Rapids and Bremer, a lot more faces. And I just think this next year in Iowa rugby, there's going to be a lot of positives. So really, really excited to get up there to Mason City this weekend. And I've been hogging all the questions, so I want to open it up to the other guys. My bad, guys. You guys got some questions for Mark?
How long's your
What was that?
How long's your hair right now? It looks really short.
It's down to my ass, so it's pretty long yet.
Really? More than I remember.
Yeah, I keep it up there pretty tight. So.
Was there anybody specific that got you like involved in rugby, like right off the bat? Like, is there like that one person that like kind of got you into it originally?
There was 3, but I had 3 buddies when I was in high school. They were playing, and I was like, "Yeah, this seems like a sport for you guys." So I'll come watch Ryan playing this night. You're not gonna get me to play rugby, but it was my buddy Ryan Amundsen, Jordan Hedrick, but the main one was Brent Piper. So
Oh yeah, okay.
you guys know Brent, and he was the one that he talked me into it. I might have had a few beverages when I agreed to it, but yes, don't matter my circumstances. I agreed to it, so I came out to a practice, was reluctant, but I never left. So I appreciate him. And when I was discouraged because I was god awful when I started, he kind of motivated me, even though I knew I was terrible. So all credit to Brent Piper on that.
Well, anybody else?
Marcus?
I'll go with the old one. What's your favorite rugby memory?
Favorite rugby memory? Oh man,
You've played in a lot of places. You've done a lot of tournaments. That's got to be. There's probably like a top 10 list for you on this one.
It's tough because just like my time out in Colorado, there's so many memories out there, and that was a lot of fun. But like getting to play and actually club rugby over in Christchurch, because we were with the old boys, but I'm friends with a club in New Zealand. That was a lot of fun. And there's so many off the field too, but actually my favorite is just coaching the high school girls. But when I was actually in Wyoming, me and my girlfriend at the time started a women's club. And the first competition we entered, we only lost 1 game, and we beat a top side in a top 20 team in the country in Montana State to win the shield or whatever. And that was just one thing about coaching women or girls, the enthusiasm they have and how pumped they get for each other is just next level. And I remember they were so pumped because they didn't think they're going to win a single game that day, and they went 3-1 on the day. And it was like they won. You would have thought they won the whole thing because they were so ecstatic. And just that moment of seeing that many girls just fall in love with the sport in that moment, I have to give it to that, I think.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's way cool.
Yeah, I was really hoping you were gonna say when we were down in Des Moines, and I think it was for the Ankeny Assholes, when you and I jumped on for a match against Des Moines B side, and and I think I was matched up against a kid who just turned 18 the next day on the wing, and you fed it right to me. I ran that kid over and I handed it right back to you, and it was I think the only 30 seconds I played in that whole match, and I was just like, hey, that was pretty fun. I was hoping that's what it was going to be, but
The old Rolling Thunder try, yeah, that worked out pretty well. That was fun. I was like, we definitely had some size on that side of the field, so that was fun. And that's one thing you got to love about rugby too, because you remember those things. They're just something you did with somebody. Because I know you and I have joked kind of about that, and I just showed up that day because my buddy, I would happen to be in Des Moines for something else, and then my buddy Mike Klosterman's like, "Come down here." He's like, "Bring your cleats," and I was like, "Sure." And then you can hop on with somebody, and I didn't expect much playing time, but I was just gonna have fun when I was out there. I mean, that's what I've loved about rugby since I started, because when I started, River City still played on Sundays, so I'd play with who I could on Saturdays, and there was always someone that would take you. So you build a lot of friendships and memories and moments. So rugby's just great.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that day was the quintessential rugby day, because it, like you said, you show up, your cleats are in your hands, and you just look around can I have a jersey? Doesn't matter what team. You just hop in, you have a good laugh, and then you have a beer afterwards, and everybody's having a good time. And I have no idea who won that day at all, other than it's we had a good little give and go.
Yeah, I remember that game. I remember that field. We were on the second one, so
Yep.
It was fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just remember feeling really bad about that kid. I'm he was probably a third of my size, and I'm just Mark set me up for that. He made me do it.
I've heard this story. You don't feel bad.
I know.
I did tell him to hit him. I was because I was going to tell you to pass it sooner, and I was like, well, no, this is going to work out for him. He's going through this one. So.
Then immediately I gave it to you because I'm like, I'm not going to run 30 meters to the tri zone. Like, you can have it. Like, that's too far.
The one guy's like running across the field on me. I was lucky I had enough space that he didn't catch me, but he was almost going to catch me. I was like, that's embarrassing.
Oh yeah, no, can't wait for the summer sevens. And like I said, gotta let us know when the Clydesdale tournament is up because
we might have a few boys that can enter in that.
Oh
yeah.
And with that, we're just trying to see like what kind of dates pop up for other sevens tournaments, and then we'll probably put a date out on that. It'll probably be in July. But teams can enter as teams, or individuals can enter as individuals, and you'll be placed on a team. So definitely.
What's the requirement for that again?
So
What was that, Phil?
So what was the weight requirement for that again? The Clydesdale?
I think it was 240. I'd have to double check with the guys.
Oof.
I got
Bulk and
plenty of
seating.
space. I can lose about 40 and still play.
You got
Bulk up, Phil.
Working on it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mark. Again, appreciate you for being on and appreciate you sharing part of your rugby story with us. And we can't wait till we see you guys on Saturday. It's going to be a fun time. I won't be playing, but I'll be there supporting. Moving into our Major League Rugby pick'em from last week, man, interesting. It came down to the wire because Marcus and I both were 4-1. I took Old Glory. He took New York, his boys.
Yep.
I watched that game. That was, Nico will explain that game, but that was one of the best rugby matches I've seen in a while. It was a good back and forth match, but yeah, Benson, the social media push, believe in Benson.
Yep.
Do you have a victory speech for them this week?
I'd like to dedicate this win to Jeremy Newman. He's believed in me since week 1. It's been a long time coming, but we're on the right track now.
And it just keeps on moving. And so that first match, Seattle at Toronto. Toronto wins. I think a lot of us have been talking about it. They have a lot of national team players for Canada, and they're really hitting their groove. Seattle's been in a funk all year. They did win recently, but they're back to what they kind of were. And Toronto is just, they're building and you can feel it. So a real interesting team, but you can see that continuity getting better. And they ended up defeating Seattle on Saturday in the first matchup. And then in our next match, Phil, Free Jacks at NOLA.
Yeah, that was a pretty tight match. NOLA was making me real nervous there for a little bit, but they were able to obviously pull out the win. They had obviously there's a lot of back and forth. It seems like every game that you give me is always a real tight one. It's always back and forth between two teams. But NOLA really did control the pace, and they do what they usually do. And I was just happy they pulled out a win, even though it didn't really make much of a difference for me this week.
Yeah, because you're a loser. You, Nico, and Flan have to do the cinnamon challenge, and thankfully
that could have literally gone the other way so easily.
Oh, so easy. And then
I think I lost my games by a total of like 8 points, other than the Seattle one.
Seattle one was bad.
Yeah, that one was bad.
But I'll do that cinnamon challenge. I'll do it no matter what happens. Raise no soy boy. I'll do it.
Should we do it live?
And then moving into the next match that really, I feel like because we know John, we just have this weird love for Utah, but they have been struggling. Marcus, what happened in that match?
I'm telling you, they had that loss to Seattle the week before, and I think things are slipping a little bit in Utah. I don't know what's going on, but like I said, I think San Diego is figuring out more than Utah is losing. I think San Diego is going to be making a strong comeback rest of the season, but I'm a little worried about Utah. A lot of mistakes.
Yeah, it took one big play there to get them over the hump.
Uh-huh.
And then moving into LA at Houston, Flan called us out because we're all on the LA train right now. and we do have love for Paul Emmerich, with the Iowa ties, the UNI ties. But, I said I thought this was going to be the biggest blowout of the season. And you know what? The SaberCats, they showed up to play. Like, this match was very close. And, the SaberCats could have walked away. The LA did pull away late, but at halftime, that match was close. And it's like I always say, who let the dogs out, Phil,
Remember the dogs barking?
yeah, get your boys under control. What are you doing?
Yeah,
but no, LA,
super.
they're great. I thought they were gonna just blow Houston out of the water. I think Houston is figuring some things out, but LA is still top of the table. We move into Nico, Atlanta at Austin. How was that match?
Another real close one. Austin looks like they're really putting things together.
Did you see? So that was also another back and forth game as well, very low scoring. And Atlanta was up by 5. And Austin has this rookie, Mooneyham, and he did a pop kick, catches it. Other guys should have got it from Atlanta. Atlanta guys should have tackled him. He runs it in for the score. Austin is up. Then, very late in the game, I think at the 78th minute, Austin has a penalty. Atlanta kicks. They make the kick and they go up by 1 or something. Then in the 81st minute, Atlanta's winning. In the 81st minute, Atlanta commits the penalty, and then Austin kicks the game-winning penalty kick. It was a wild game, back and forth. Yeah, 17-15 was the final.
And Mooneyham went to life, right? So that had to feel pretty good beating those Atlanta boys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of them.
Yeah, that was another tight one. And, we've been told Austin is like the heartbreak team because they have the most losses in the last 10 minutes. But at 81 and a half minutes, they kicked the game winner. So that was pretty cool to see. And then
season, you never know.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, and Nico, Old Glory and New York, what happened?
Yeah, New York coming in on a 2-game win streak, Old Glory 2 losses, and they're playing in New Jersey. Back and forth, just like all the other rest of the games. There was points scored in every 10 minutes of this match. 2 missed conversions by Old Glory is the difference in this one. New York top of the table in a crowded East with 15 points, and Old Glory sitting in the basement with 8. I still think that's a good team, though.
Yeah.
What do you think? I know you were texting a lot about that game. Did you want to jump in on it?
No, I mean, you guys were all doing yard work, and I was resting my hand, and I was watching this match because this was one of the few times we have a definitive winner, and it was either going to be me or Marcus. And yeah, that game I was on edge the whole time. And I would really say, if somebody's not a rugby fan and hasn't watched rugby, this is the year to get on board because almost every match is within 1 score and it comes down to the wire and there's points everywhere. So definitely, if people don't know anything about rugby, this is the time to show them because anybody in the league right now, even the people in last place, they could end up winning this whole thing. There's so much parity. It's awesome. Mark, did you watch any matches this past weekend?
I only got the chance to watch the Free Jackson Nola game, which was a good one. It went the wrong way, obviously, but it was a sloppy game. With the field conditions were pretty bad, and yeah, it was a fun one to watch, though.
You have a Free Jacks hat on. How did you become a Free Jacks fan? What's the connection?
My buddy Ty Gleader was going to be the captain. I know you guys know who he is. I actually
he's not our buddy.
Your buddy. But as you guys know, I had him come up here. He worked with River City, and he actually worked with my high school girls and stuff. And I've gone down to St. Louis a few times and hung out with him, and he's a good guy. So I was actually set to go out for their first game before it got canceled last year, but so he's kind of my connection. Now he's trying to kick professionally for football, actually. So
Saw that, yeah.
I decided
Oh.
to stick with New England, even though he left, just because I have their hat, I guess. So, but I do like him. And of course, they get another redhead to come and kick for him. That's a very good kicker as well. So I like watching a good kicking fly half. So yeah, sticking with
Definitely.
them.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing. I mean, I wish there was a team in the Midwest we could all root for together, but with all these teams spread across, we can pick anybody to root for. And we do that usually week to week. We change our mind because we have the luxury to do that. We're not tied to anybody. So it's always interesting to hear how people kind of pick a team. And yeah, that's right. He has that like a coaching consultation kind of program.
Yeah, it's like USA Rugby consultation or something like that. Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
he's good friends with Paul Kaler, and so Paul, he's brought him up here a couple times, and he's just a really cool guy. And like, it's pretty fun to watch him kicking games, but like just hanging out with him at a practice field and watching him kick, it blows my mind. It's the most unreal thing I've ever seen. So.
Oh yeah. And so for people that don't know the joke here that we're kind of joking is a few of us played against him, and yeah, his kicking, to watch it in person, especially on the same field, is insane. And also when you're on the other team, it's not very fun.
The ball a lot further in Denver.
Yeah, he can pin you deep and like it's nothing. And man, he is good. But no, he is a good guy. It's just kind of fun to joke about that. But moving into our results here of the money. So Benson got $25, didn't have to split the pot. He gets out of the negative. He's tied with me now, but I have the one extra victory. Nico, even though we have the same record, you didn't have to split the pot when I had to. And then you look at Phil. Phil, you're tied with me and Nico record-wise, but you just can't find a way to break from the pack. Justin has the best record overall, but is sitting at negative 1750 because, again, he only picks winners when we all pick winners. So, yeah. And then DeAndre, he'll figure it out. He's still learning.
At least he's consistent.
And then we did, as a group, we did have a winning record this week. We're 75-107. So we did move up in the win percentage a little bit, but still below 500. We'll get there. A lot of time left. Nico or Marcus or someone want to brag about how well they're doing? Okay, we're gonna move on. Nope, you don't get to talk. You had your moment.
I was waiting for the merch to come back up.
Nico, talk about our merch.
Yeah, man, we're selling out, so thank you to everybody. But they're gonna reorder things, so keep on it, because that's pretty awesome to get that merch out there.
Yeah. So what Nico's saying is, we had one of our props, Victor, sent me a message, and he's like, "Hey, I went to World Rugby Shop to buy a pair of shorts so I can play in them. They're not on the website anymore." Went to the website. We were missing like 13 items from our store, and we contacted them and we sold out. And even World Rugby Shop was kind of like, "Whoa, we did not expect you to go through stuff that fast," and they had to reprint stuff. So yeah, thank you for people who've been buying stuff. Guys on the team, get your shorts. Anybody, get a fanny pack. It's awesome. You'll need it for summer. Yeah. And now, one of the most exciting parts is, what is the punishment going to be? Mark, do you like spicy food? Do you like physical challenges? Drinking challenges? What's kind of your forte?
Oh man, not spicy.
That's all they've been.
Oh, pause. Oof. I clicked on something. Ooh, almost spoiled it. Yeah, that'd be terrible if it was spicy again. I will say I did add a new one. Someone sent it to me, and it's called, let me see, the Stone Cold Chug Challenge.
Oh, yes.
Did you send
Oh,
that to
the
me?
margarita.
Wait,
Where
what
he's
is
like-
it?
So
I-
Stone
Yeah,
Cold
right.
has a promo where he's like, shot of whiskey, and then the crowd yells, what? And he's like, shot of tequila, what? And then he's like, a beer, another beer. And so he says like 5 things, and you got to drink them all back to back. And your final 2 beers, you smash them, you drink them,
Oh,
and then you got to stunner some people, you know?
I think I'd stutter myself trying to walk out of the bar after that.
Yeah, Pallies will love this one because it'll run up a big. It'll automatically be 5 drinks for each person that does this. So
Even if you break some glass, it'll go perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Pallies won't like that part of it. All right, here we go.
Not the mustache.
I bet that one won't happen till
He's
after
gonna
the
lose.
school year.
Oh,
Oh, hottest chip challenge.
What the hell? Why do you get all these spicy ones?
I blame Mr. Gray.
These are all on the wheel. And if you have better ideas, send them to me, and I'll replace spicy ones. But this might be our last spicy one.
Did you ever add that one with the 1,000-piece puzzle and have to listen to the same Nickelback song until it's completed? Did you put that in there?
Yeah, that's on there. Yeah.
Oh god, I don't want to do that one either.
And I looked it up, and it takes about 3 to 10 hours to do a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Oh. Depending on who it is, it could take longer.
Hopefully,
Oh.
7 people lose that week, so then teamwork. Actually, that'll make it go even longer. So, moving into week 6, this was, I think, Marcus, when you texted me your picks, you said it best. This week was rough. I feel like a lot of us were on the same page, but then you have some toss-up games too, where it could go either way. And it feels like half the matches are toss-ups. And I feel like we're going to have some surprises. Could have some people breaking away from the pack. So, Nico, we have NOLA at Atlanta. Why are you looking at Atlanta?
This is NOLA's first away game. I don't know if anybody noticed that,
I didn't.
but home teams have been really like killing it this year. It's been a huge advantage, especially for NOLA. I feel, they have a huge crowd, so that crowd's going to be in the favor of Atlanta. I think they're going to put a couple things together after that close loss and stick it to them.
Sounds like club rugby. Like when you're at home, you have like 10 more players on your roster, and you don't have to drive. Like even in the pros, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Nice. And then the next match, we have San Diego at LA. A lot of us taking LA. I went with LA because, again, until someone can prove they're not the top of the table, I think, their firepower, it just seems like they can't be stopped. But Mark comes in, he says emphatically that this will be the first. He didn't say San Diego will win. He said San Diego will hand the Guiltinis their first loss. So how are they going to do it, Mark? What's the story?
I just have that feeling it's going to happen. Guiltinis are due for a loss. It's a fluke that they're doing this well.
Ooh,
That's bold.
can't wait to sip my tea later, Mark.
And I'm totally BSing because I watched Guiltini's first game and I haven't watched them since. So you guys might all be laughing at me by the end of this week for sure. So
Well, I
just
your
have
mailing
to
address
get
for
that chip.
the hottest chip, yeah. And then Phil, your favorite team, the Utah Warriors, are hosting the Houston SaberCats.
Yeah, I mean,
You're the only one who likes Utah.
yeah, I'm going out on a limb because they've just had 2 weeks back to back where they're just having a hard time put together. But I think this is going to be the week where they, get their shit straight and get back to what they were doing prior. And I don't know. I mean, like, I like Houston too, Paul Emmerich and all that. But I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be a tight one. I know it's going to be a real close match. But I think Utah's going to come out on top on this one. Not just based on faith and Johnny Utah, don't get mad at me.
And it is one of those things where I do feel like Houston and Utah right now, they're both near the bottom of the table. And so this is kind of one of those toss-up matches. I was really surprised a lot of us agreed on Houston, but I think it's because we keep getting burned by Utah that people are kind of like, all right, time to move on. Speaking of moving on, Marcus will never move on from New York ever again.
Nope. I've been Team New York since week 1, and
Except for 1 week.
Oh yeah, except for 1 week. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, no, you tweeted out or Instagrammed out the conference standings. I think you guys are mistaken at who's at the top. I think you guys got some short-term vision. You see last week, Toronto gets that one big win, but don't forget that was against a very bad Seattle team. So I think it's gonna be a close one, but I think New York's gonna pull it out.
Man, do you work for the New York?
They need to start paying me. All right, I need to get a New York emblem put it up here next.
Get the boys merch. My goodness.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Hey, New York or Rugby United New York, send Marcus at least a new hat, maybe a T-shirt.
I'll rep it.
No, they're not going to send it because they know you'll pay for it because you're that big of a fan.
Right.
All right. Then the next game, we have the Free Jacks hosting Old Glory, and we have it split. Half of us, I mean, I guess there's 7, but half Old Glory, half Free Jacks. Mark, you want to talk to us? Why do you think it's going to be the Free Jacks?
This is just team bias because I haven't watched DC play this year, but I did think the Free Jacks looked pretty good last week. Yeah, it's more of that's my team. I'm going to put them up. So
awesome. And then moving into that last match, we have Seattle at Austin. Across the board, Austin. I feel like this is less of people thinking Austin is a great team and more of people have lost all faith in Seattle. Would you guys say that's fair, Nico?
I really do think that Austin could put things together at the same time. Like they're starting to tick in the right direction. They've been in a lot of close matches, losing them, but they won this last one. I think they're starting to tick in the right direction. But yeah, Seattle definitely is not doing us any favors either.
Right. And I like the pack play from Austin. I think their first score last week was a line out into a maul, and they scored off the maul. Like they just drove it in. And so as a pack player, you love seeing that, and you just feel like that gets everybody on your team excited. And if they can keep that kind of mentality, they got some good young talent in the back line. Yeah, like you said, Nico, I think they got some pieces. They just need to finish some matches. They'll be good to go. So only 2 people have the same predictions, Justin and D. Maybe they just hung out today, just the 2 of them talking about this, Who knows?
Did D just pick another person?
No, he picked his. But for Free Jacks, he put FC. And that took me a minute to figure out what FC meant, but but I just assume it's Free Jacks. I don't know how that would be Old Glory, but Oh, it could have been. He could have meant DC. Oh well, you gotta submit your ballot without any doubt. It just said FC, and so could have been Free Jack, could have been DC. I don't know, but no, I think this week's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna again have a definitive winner and 2 definitive losers, maybe some ties. I don't know, but I think this will be a fun one. I think a lot of surprises this week. And here's that logo Mark was talking about. You guys can see what he was saying with you got the rugby ball, you got the trombone, you got the rose. Really cool logo there. And yeah, the Wombats are on the road, heading to River City. That's Mason City. It's River City Rugby Clubhouse, 602 North Tyler Avenue in Mason City. Kickoff is at 1:00. We're super excited to go. We got a lot of young guys just trying to figure some things out. So Mark, if we're offsides the entire match, We're just warning you now. The referee's arm's going to get tired because we can't figure that out to save our lives.
Yeah, that's okay. We were struggling with that the first 2 weeks, so we're right with you.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, you know, when you're refereeing JV rugby sometimes and you're just like, okay, play on, I'm getting tired of blowing my whistle. I think that happened against Cedar Rapids where he's just like,
JV just got sick of it.
oh, their back line's going to be offsides the entire time unless it goes to the back line, whatever. The ball's just in the pack. But no, we're excited for this match, excited to play you guys and just hang out in Mason City. What do we got on the menu at the social? Potato salad?
Yeah, there's usually some of that. What we typically do is we get the grill out. We'll do burgers, brats, and hot dogs, and then all our players bring a side. So there's usually some guys bring dessert, some bring potato salad, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's a bit of just a grill out afterwards. So
awesome.
Gray's gonna need its own special tub potato salad.
You know what, Phil? I'm actually watching my macros, and potato salad doesn't fit in to my macros.
Prop life.
Shut up.
Nerd.
I was definitely when D got a hold of me about setting up a game, and I'm glad you guys are coming here. So for the new guys on the Wombats that haven't had much rugby social experience, hopefully we do it justice and we have a good time. Look like you guys had fun in Cedar Rapids too. So.
Oh yeah, the bar has been set at Cedar Rapids. So our young guys, I mean, that's all they know. So hopefully, you know, we're gonna hold you to it. And that's how we sold a lot of these guys into coming out for rugby, was we really sold the social side, because, you know, that's, for a lot of us, that's the most fun part. And, you know, rugby's the vehicle that gets us there. So yeah, we're excited, man. Anything else we should be looking forward to on Saturday?
No, it looks like the weather's going to be about perfect. So just from me and River City, we want to say well done to you guys in your first season and all that you're doing. I think you guys are kind of doing more than some of us clubs that have been around. So it's been a thrill to watch you guys, and we'll watch your continued success. So we're excited to have you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Much love.
Yeah, appreciate that. And again, we thank you for being on and joining us. And we also wanted to make sure people see that, you know, rugby is a community thing, not just in individual teams, but, you know, we all support each other. Like we want to see River City grow. We want to see all rugby grow. And I think that's kind of important. People don't really realize that unless you're in the rugby community. So that's why it's important for us to have you on and share this conversation and talk about the great things you guys have going on in Mason City. And yeah, just super excited.
Question, Nico, was that your dad on the roster?
Yes, sir. We got the oldest man playing. Yes, yeah, he got in against Cedar Rapids too, his first minutes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I ran into him at a security conference, and he's like, "My son plays rugby," but yeah, it was kind of random. Then I saw his name on your roster, so I was like, "I gotta ask." That's awesome. So.
Yeah, I don't think any of us ever thought he would actually get on the field, but he went in for a tackle against Eads, and everybody knows that's not an easy thing. So
No.
He's willing.
What's up?
Pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, you guys aren't going to be there this weekend though, Nico, right?
I think he's planning on being there. Maybe.
Is he? Okay, I wasn't sure. Gotcha. So watch out for Rick Felice. He's coming for you. You'll be a marked man. Yeah, so next match this Saturday. The next match after that is May 8th. We're hosting Bremer for our first ever home match. Thank you again, everybody, for watching. And thank you again to District 36, Wine and Spirits, for their support in doing this. We always appreciate it. And again, get out there, have a good time. Phil vouches for it on his life.
Oh yeah.
So I trust
100%.
Yeah. And then Nico, final thought?
Go get your vaccines, brothers. Let's do this. So we can be normal again. Love it.
We were never normal. What do you mean again?
Yeah, I was gonna
Art.
say.
Phil, final thought?
I don't know, just looking forward to Saturday. And yeah, go Wombats, baby.
Phil, you're grounded. I
know.
specifically put in the run sheet. Think of something, one thing clever to say.
Oh,
at the
me
end.
specifically?
Well, Nico did a great job.
Oh, whatever.
On the fly. What you gonna do?
Nico's a
Right.
conformist. He's been chipped.
Come on, Gray, show him. Yeah, we both got him today.
Marcus, final thought?
Just looking forward to practice on Wednesday, and yeah, we're looking forward to going to Mason City. It should be a good time.
Perfect. And no rain, so you can play without any fear.
I'm excited.
Your biggest enemy.
Yep.
All right. And then, Mark, you can't hear it now, but when you listen to the playback, there'll be some awesome music playing right now. The way we end every episode, you send us home. Final thoughts, anything you want to say, any shout outs, the floor is yours. Take us home, Mark.
I just want to give a shout out to you guys. I'm really having fun watching what you're doing. You guys should be really proud, and you guys are changing the landscape here. So well done to the Wombats. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers, brother. All right. We'll see you guys.
Take care, guys.